How's it going, everybody? It is March 11th, 2021, and with that, the official start of the RLCS X Spring Split. We've got Europe going down today, and along with that, a bunch of different information in regards to roster changes and the fact that the Season 2 competitive season is coming to an end, and the rewards have been finally announced. What is up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. And in today's video, as you can see by the trailer, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Spring Split and how everything is finally kind of getting underway. Also, shout outs to Little Cat Steps. If you guys don't know him, he's edited some of the Brawl videos that I did for highlights in the past, and is also the one in charge of this trailer. So shout outs to him getting some work from Psionics, as he is extremely talented. Maybe in the future he gets picked up by Psionics, just like Mini K and the rest of those guys. So fingers crossed for him and his future. But a couple things to go over. We're going to be talking about in today's video the Spring Split trailer. We've also got stuff about groups finally being announced for Europe. There's also a bunch of roster rumors and extensions and other things to talk about as well. But before we get into that, a big thing a lot of people want to know about is Season 2 and the rewards, the competitive rewards for Season 2, as well as like when stuff is supposed to be finalized. So if you guys didn't see it and you guys haven't seen it, links to everything I talk about in the description down below, as always. But first things first, Season 2 has been extended and the competitive rewards have been announced. You probably should see it by the title and the thumbnail and everything else. But Season 2 is going to be boosts for the competitive rewards, whether you're Silver, Bronze, all the way up to Grand Champ or Supersonic Legend. There's an individual boost for each one, and as long as you get to that rank and get 10 wins, then you get that and all the ones below it. So in this case, normally they were planning on the rank ending either on March 31st or April 1st. I assume not April 1st because of April Fool's Day and maybe some other stuff, but they did push it back a week. So the season itself, you have until April 7th to finish all of your grinding of ranked, getting your rewards, as well as all the unique titles. You get unique titles for hitting Grand Champ, as well as if you hit Grand Champ in any of the extra game modes. You've got RNG Champ, Dunk Master, Blizzard Wizard, and Floor Destroyer in the respective areas, whether it be Rumble, Hoops, Snow Day, and Drop Shot. And if you hit Supersonic Legend, those then get leveled up, and you get Supersonic Legend, RN Genius, Legendary Baller, Ice Titan, and Tile Annihilator. So nothing changing there. It's just the rewards have been announced and everything else. One thing that has changed, though, is obviously there's the tournament rewards for the goal explosions and everything else. And if you did not trade in all of your points or your tournament credits, they are converting those into all-star cups. And the cool thing is whether you have 0 or all the way to 12,000, you will get 1. If it is 12,001 to 2,400, you will get 2, and 24,000 to 3,600, you will get 3. That continues to level up, I assume, progressively. So for every 12,000 more that you have, you get one of those cups, and it does that auto conversion. So if you are close to the next tier, I would recommend playing in a tournament and just trying to bump yourself up, possibly get another one. But ultimately, I think it's a good way to use the leftover credits, and it does benefit everybody if they are less than 12,000. So that's pretty cool. The other thing with it as well is obviously those items, I assume, are going to get discontinued and not be recycled into the next competitive season. So if there's some items in there, it's going to add some exclusivity, and for those that do care about trading and stuff, it should increase the value as well, which is pretty cool. Jumping over to the esports side of things, the first one we talked about, and a lot of this stuff is in reference to a video a couple days ago where I talk about all the teams that are leaving or joining or whatever it may be. The first one I mentioned was Oxygen Esports and how there was talks of them possibly picking up Solary or Jamal Jabari getting involved or whatever it may be. So as a quick TLDR, there's two teams, technically 3, that you really want to talk about. The big one is Jamal Jabari. So Jamal Jabari was in talks with apparently being picked up either by Oxygen or Charlotte Phoenix. They decided that they wanted to go with Oxygen, so Charlotte Phoenix went and picked up Loco. That is now who Charlotte Phoenix represents. Unfortunately, the Oxygen deal didn't work out, and people were assumed or rumored that Oxygen was just going to extend their roster. That also did not happen. So a couple days ago, Oxygen ended up putting out a tweet that said, "You didn't really think we were leaving Rocket League, did you? Announcement coming soon." The graphic with their decal and a couple silhouettes. But the thing that I was trying to figure out is who those silhouettes are. And in the meantime, if you look at the middle silhouette and scroll in, there's a weird circle with blue. And then I also checked out at the replies, and shout outs to Zodic, he's a regular in my stream. He ended up changing the contrast and the saturation and stuff and the brightness, and it's clearly a Jamal Jabari logo. So a lot of people are assuming, why put the Jamal Jabari logo in there if you're not picking up Jamal Jabari? So at this point, pretty safe to assume the thing we talked about 2 days ago in our assumption was right on the money. And it does look like Oxygen, because they are a North American org, are going to be picking up Jamal Jabari. So credit to them. On the other side of things, with Oxygen, to kind of complete their story, the same thing happened with what it looks like Solary. We mentioned how Solary is an all-French organization and would also like to pick up a French team. And now that Oxygen, or former Oxygen, I think they would go by Frontline if they weren't picked up. I think that was the OG name before like Reciprocity and PSG and all that other kind of stuff. But because Oxygen is all French and they have the availability to be picked up, I think Oxygen is just going to pick them up. And I think Shift also confirms that with a rumor. So it does look like Solary and that situation is going to be happening. So that is 2 for 2. Shout outs to the theory crafting of my chat over on Twitch. If you guys would like to join us, coming out, twitch.tv/Lawler. We stream every day but Tuesday. So that is the trifecta of Charlotte Phoenix, Jamal Jabari, and Oxygen all taken care of. So those 3 things out of the way. On to the next thing. The team of Illusion, if you guys don't remember, Tadpole, Rise, and RizX came together to try and compete. And apparently things didn't go well in the Elemental series. They also didn't go in Regional 1. And after just what it feels like 2 days, I think it was, now 3 or 4, they have announced that they will not be keeping RizX. They ended up putting out a tweet that says, as of this evening, Tadpole and Rise have parted ways with RizX and will be trying out other players ahead of grid qualification and Regional 2. This may come to a shock as people, given it's been such a short time since we confirmed our Spring Split roster. However, results the past few days and failure to qualify for Regional 1, as well as the overall feeling that the roster just won't click for us, has led us to this decision, and it's one that is respected by everyone involved. Despite the change, we'd like to say massive thank you to RizX for playing this regional with us and wish him the best in his next endeavors. It is a bit of a shock because it did happen essentially 2 days ago, based upon when I'm talking about this. So yeah, that did kind of surprise everybody. It's like you just made the team, but to provide some insight for a lot of people, obviously, when you are trying out people, obviously there's a trade window, and that's when the trades themselves actually happen. But a lot of times when teams are thinking about switching up the rosters, they are trialing and scrimming and practicing in a multitude of different ways. It's not like they only played in regionals and they only played in the Elemental series. Plus, if they feel like something in the roster already feeling-wise wasn't working, it's good to recognize that earlier than later. Like, this team has no chance whatsoever of making it to Worlds anyway. Like, top 6 for points is not possible. So, realistically speaking, I'm okay with them just recognizing immediately, getting past the initial hump and just saying, hey, let's go on to the next phase, because clearly we know this isn't going to work. So I actually credit them, even though it is a bit of a shock. I think it's the right decision. Speaking of things that came out of nowhere and are drastically changed almost immediately, there was the roster in North America called Sup with Luke, Mile, and Money. The previous Sip and Ice Cubes, now using Money instead of Forky, have kicked Luke. He put out a tweet right after I actually finished recording this video, and then I had to re-record some stuff to make this, but he said, never mind, I got kicked. Probably done with Rocket League. Was a fun run though. Might post a tweet longer later thanking everyone who made the ride fun. Which is pretty crazy because Luke came into the scene with some really good positive vibes. Obviously, there was the omelet situation, BTS. They made a really good run and surprised a lot of people. The team, all the pieces kind of got picked up and brought elsewhere. You know, Lion Blaze and all that kind of stuff. And Luke went to Ghost, got kicked off of Ghost, and it's been struggling to get back ever since. And now he's kicked off and probably just going to call it quits. So you kind of feel for the guy. Very short-lived, and I also think it puts into emphasis how difficult it is to remain at the top level, how cutthroat it is, and quite honestly, it kind of sucks for the guy. I feel for him. One of the more exciting things in news for today is Shift put out a tweet mentioning that after months of speculation, it appears that Top Blokes roster will not be joining an organization. There's been a lot of conversation around Top Blokes and who's going to pick them up and what's going to be happening. Instead, it looks like the team has allegedly continued to forward as the name Top Blokes, but are going to be backed by investors. And this one actually was a pretty fun conversation piece over on my chat today about what this actually means for Top Blokes, because I think about it more on the business side and the involvement that's required and the benefits that an organization brings. Obviously, if you're a respectable organization, you have foundation and structure built into your system. You have, you know, coaches, managers, staff, graphics, digital arts, content team. You have a plethora of people that take care of things for you. And for that, you obviously represent a brand, etc. The cool thing about this situation is it has not been done in Rocket League before. The only thing that comes to mind immediately for me is thinking about like Dota and Team Secret situation, because it is somewhat similar. The difficulty for this is I'm not sure what Top Blokes is undertaking if this is the case. I don't know if Rams is also going to be in charge of all their traveling and booking and stuff like that when the pandemic does finalize. Who's going to handle all of that kind of stuff? Their scheduling, boot camps, all that kind of stuff is up to them. And if they do have investors, you know, that money is going to be there, but it's just one more hat that the management or whoever may be has to handle it. Is Rams going to want to really deal with coaching the guys as well as doing all this other stuff on top of it? It's a lot of things that add complication. And I don't know if Top Looks is going to be a household name and they're going to expand upon that, or what the investors are expecting of them. This is something that I'm excited to follow up with. I hope once this stuff is finalized and announced, we can sit down with Rams and actually talk about this. If that's something you guys would like to hear about and listen to, comments down below. Let me know if you'd like to listen to Rams and I discuss about the Top Look situation once it becomes public. Two more things to cover. The second to last one is a pretty quick one. Space Station Gaming, obviously very talented roster, top 4 in North America, has extended their roster for 2 more years. Home, who has been a coach for a while, and after the release of Sathu, it has been pretty much Sipical, Redos, and Arsenal for a decent amount of time now. It looks like the team is pretty solidified and trying to build upon something special. They have announced a 2-year contract extension and are sticking with that team for quite a while. They did Sathu dirty in that video, but the ironic thing about it is Sathu is actually back on the team now as their sub, so I guess he's tongue-in-cheek with it and understands that it's more of a joke or more of just for the content side to show the story of where the team came together. But yeah, they did Sathu pretty dirty in that intro. And poor guy, man, poor guy. Last but certainly not least on the list, the groups are out for Regional 1. Today, Regional 1 for the Spring Split starts for RLCS X. EU Regional, we've got 4 groups of 5. Gonna show those on the screen real quick. In Group A, you've got Aether, Galaxy Racer, Pirates, Team BDS, Team Queso. In Group B, you got Alpha AF, Endpoint X Oxygen, which is supposed to become Solary, most likely, Godsmill's team, and Team Vitality. In Group C, you've got Dignitas, Rickstad, GG, Team Liquid, Top Lokes, and Trainhard. New Trainhard, by the way, keep that in mind. In Group T, you got 3 Musketeers, Giants, Guild, Team Singularity, and White Demons. Some of these groups, this is the first time I'm seeing this, is actually pretty brutal. I would hate to be in any of these groups, honestly. That's a lot of competition. Open qualifiers looked like they were pretty rough, so excited to see some of these teams. The big one I've probably my eyes on is probably Group A. I think Aether's a really good team. Obviously, BDS, the best in the region. Galaxy Racer with the addition of Bluey. Got Team Queso trying to bounce back. I think that's pretty exciting overall. To put this into perspective for everybody, just because if you guys haven't seen it, somewhere shown up here most likely, and hopefully in the related at some point, will be a link to the spring season breakdown, how the format works, all that kind of stuff. If you guys haven't seen that and are a little confused by how this is going to work, make sure you go watch that video. It explains it very well, in my opinion. But these matches for day 0, which is the 11th today, will start at 1 p.m. Eastern, and all of the matches will be on the team's individual broadcasts. Very familiar and very similar to the grid. Day 1, technically day 2, will be on Friday, and then those matches will be on the Rocket League broadcast, the AB stream, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that's not confusing. If you guys need more information on that, go check out that format video that I put out a couple days ago. That is going to wrap it up for your Rocket League news for the day. I know it's a lot of information, and if you guys do have any questions about it, drop those down below, along with stuff if you'd like to hear about Rams and Top Lokes when that stuff comes to the light. But ultimately, if you guys need more information, in the description down below, links to everything I'm talking about. Otherwise, come join us. We'll be doing watch parties all weekend long as well, the stuff that we can cover on broadcast on my own channel. But that is going to do it for me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.